Often French gets referred to as their favourite subject, the best subject I did in my whole degree. So that's really lovely to hear. My name is Andrew McGregor. I am the convener of the French Studies program, and I'm a senior lecturer specialising in French cinema. French Studies is primarily the study of the French language and French-speaking cultures around the world. So it's not just limited to metropolitan France in Europe. It also relates to all territories in the world where French is spoken and the impact of France and French culture around the world. It's often quite a complementary experience for students to study languages like French. The languages disciplines cover a broad range of areas and fields of expertise across the faculty actually. So you can be a specialist in obviously languages, linguistics, cinema, literature, theatre and other aspects of French culture and French cultural output. We study French culture through the language and vice versa, so the two really do complement each other. We try not to separate them too much because one can't really exist without the other. It's a very communicative experience. A lot of the staff in the French program are native speakers, so they're able to draw on their personal experience. We do teach the language very actively and students interact with each other a lot, also in relatively small groups. And it's great to be able to benefit from the experience that each student brings to the table. They're all coming from different backgrounds. It really is a question of both staff and students talking about their passion and their passion for French culture, French language and international relations and intercultural communication. A lot of students don't actually realise that you don't have to have any knowledge of French whatsoever to embark on this magnificent journey. So we do have our French 1 subject, which is for students with little to no experience of studying the language formally. We do have probably one of the largest, if not the largest, cohort of advanced students or post-VCE, post-Year 12 students in French. And we place them at a higher level in the languages program so that they can go on to discover those really enticing options, those elective subjects that we have, including food and wine studies, which is a very popular one. We have a subject called Matters of Taste, which is also extremely popular. We also have subjects that are delivered overseas, so students actually travel with other students and with staff to, for example, the Loire Valley in France, which is a very popular course. And also, as I mentioned, in terms of global French studies, we also take students to places like New Caledonia for a really fascinating discovery of the rich cultural mix in places like that. So it's a great example of that kind of post-colonial environment where French culture meets the indigenous culture of New Caledonia. I think the primary motivator for studying French at university is that self-discovery as much as that sense of curiosity. And students are very savvy these days, realising that the world is a much more complex place than perhaps we all once imagined, and that the ability to look at the world through a different lens, a different linguistic and cultural lens, is really quite extraordinary. And I really like it when they actually discover something about themselves in the process. I think that's another important aspect of French studies and language study in general, is that you get to discover more about yourself and your own place in the world by looking at things through a different perspective.